Kia ora anō and welcome to Wellington Central Police Station. For those of you who haven't been here before, just to reiterate, my name is, I am Inspector Dion Bennett, Acting District Commander for Wellington Police. I'm going to read a prepared statement and then I'll take some questions following that. By way of a progress update, earlier this afternoon, the scene at Loafers Lodge has now been handed to police by Fire and Emergency New Zealand. I'd like to take this opportunity to again extend my thanks to our partners at Fire and Emergency New Zealand for their work to ensure we have been able to safely access the building so quickly after this significant fire. I can advise that as we speak, a reconnaissance team has entered Loafers Lodge, and as the name suggests, they'll be conducting an initial recon of the building, working to develop plans for a more extensive search by our specialist staff, which we expect to commence tomorrow. The scene examination will be extensive and methodical, and we expect it to take some time, likely several days, given the large size of the building. However, I can confirm that we are treating the fire as arson. Alongside the scene examination, officers will be working to locate and recover those who have lost their lives tragically in this fire. We know there are many people waiting for news of family and friends, including residents who escaped the fire and who are keenly waiting for news of their fellow tenants. I again want to provide the reassurance that we have a large number of officers working on this investigation with the aim of providing a swift and timely outcome and the answers that we all need. A number of officers spent the day yesterday at Newtown Park speaking to some of those residents who did evacuate. However, we are aware that not everyone went to Newtown Park yesterday or stayed there last night. And for those who didn't go to Newtown Park, we would still like to speak to them. We want to speak to those residents along with anyone else who may have information that may assist this investigation. We ask that people get in touch with us via a 105 police non-emergency number referencing Operation Rose, or to use the online reporting options portal and select the node Something Else. Scene guards will remain at Loafers Lodge overnight, as they will for the duration of this examination. And at this stage, Adelaide Road remains closed. We continually review the road closures for Adelaide Road because we understand the impact that it has on local residents. However, I'm sure we all understand the significance of this investigation. Thank you.
Are you investigating claims an earlier couch fire reignited, and what do you know about those claims?
As I said earlier, we are treating it as an arson. I'm not prepared to say why or the reasons for us treating it as an arson, other than to say that we are.
So when your team entered to do the recon, was it this afternoon?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. What was the scene like inside? What did they report back to you about what it's like?
As we're speaking now, they're still inside the building. I can say, having seen some early photographs, that the damage is extensive. That in some of the floors, and on the third floor in particular, the roof has collapsed, and that in places on the floor, a pile of debris and burnt debris is stacked as high as 1 metre.
A resident told the Herald this morning they smelled petrol as they escaped the blaze. Have investigators found evidence of accelerants?
I have no comment to make on whether accelerant is part of the cause of the fire, and I don't know that for sure.
Are police speaking to many suspects in relation to the arson?
Because it is an arson investigation, we do have a list of people that we want to speak to. I'm not prepared to say who they are or where they are. However, our investigation teams are working rapidly on that.
So there are active suspects that the police investigate?
It's an arson inquiry, so yes, we are going to identify some suspects or some people of interest that we want to speak to. And that list of how big they are will be determined also by the ongoing inquiries that we make.
Has anyone been arrested?
Nobody's been arrested.
Is there going to be a separate investigation into the building as opposed to the CID investigation?
That's not a question that police can answer.
Can you share progress as to the reconciliation effort between the people that are unaccounted for?
Yeah, absolutely. So our reconciliation teams have been working fast and accurately today. I can say that we have accounted for 92 people, and that the number still to be accounted for is less than 20. I won't be accurate with that.
Does that 92 include deceased?
That's accounted for people. So the scene examination will determine if there are deceased, how many there are and who they are.
So no.
So no.
Could you just speak us through the plan for police over the next few days while this inquiry continues and the scene examination continues?
We'll have an extensive scene examination going through the building, and we'll have part of our investigation team searching through and looking for our suspects.
Can police report that there are multiple ignition points? Can police confirm that there are multiple ignition points?
No, we can't confirm that. The examination hasn't been completed, and we can't say that.
Are police able to confirm whether or not the bodies are still inside of the building, or have they been removed?
No, they still lie in situ, and I'll reiterate that we still haven't been able to confirm the number.
How likely is it that you find more bodies? Have you been able to access the whole unit?
So part of the reason for the reconnaissance this afternoon is to give us a more accurate indication of where we should be focusing our examination, how extensive it needs to be, and whether or not we can identify the number of deceased in there.
And so what have you learned from that? Is there a particular part of the hostel that you're focusing on?
I can't say, because at the moment the reconnaissance is still underway now. Our team is still in the building as we speak.
What hours are you pulling inside the building over the next few days?
So there's no power going to the building, obviously, so during daylight hours is the obvious. And we'll make a determination over the coming days of whether or not we need to, how long we need to work, because as you can imagine too, our staff welfare is important, and being inside that environment exposing them inside that environment for a length of time comes with its own risks.
Can police confirm whether the fire was called in or whether emergency services were alerted by alarms?
I can say that a call was made to FENS. I don't know the detail of that.
So if this is arson, is this being treated as a homicide investigation?
Yes, because it's an arson and there are deaths involved, it is a homicide inquiry.
Will you have an appeal to those responsible to come forward?
That's a good question. Absolutely. If there is anyone with information that will assist our inquiry, please contact us, either in person through the 10-5 line, or make yourself known to the many support agencies, and they can put you in touch with us.
How many police are working on the recon mission?
So the recon team that's in the building now is small. However, the examination and investigation team who will go through the building is quite extensive. And as you can imagine, the more staff that we expose to that environment creates a risk for us. So we manage who we put in and how many we put in at any one time so that we can sustain the examination over the coming days.
You talked about persons of interest. Are they residents from the building, or are they people whose records indicate that they would be of interest?
No, I can't comment on the persons of interest.
Were police upset when the Mayor initially said that the fire was not suspicious?
I'm not aware of the Mayor's comment on that, and no.
Probably just got time for a
Could
couple more
you
questions.
speak a little bit just to the mental toll that this might have on police officers?
Well, as you can imagine, the task that they're about to undertake is grim. We have welfare support for our staff in place, and say equally for our FENS colleagues as well.
Does the Newtown
And are you-
community still need to be concerned about asbestos near the fire?
Sorry, repeat.
We've got, obviously yesterday we were asked to wear masks in
Yes.
Newtown. Is that still an issue? Is asbestos in the air still an issue for the community?
So yesterday afternoon, Council had arranged for any asbestos, loose asbestos on the ground, to be cleaned. But part of our handover with Fire and Emergency New Zealand today is discussing the asbestos issue. We're assured that it is safe for us to work in and around there, and so equally being in that proximity is okay. However, should there be any change to that situation, then we'll be coming out to the public straight away as well.
Could you speak to the plans in place for the residents who have lost their houses? Is that something police are working on?
That's something that the council have taken the lead on, and they'd be best to answer that.
When do you think
Fire
they
and
might
Emergency
be able
said
to?
yesterday the death toll was 6. Is that likely to climb, do you think?
Well, as it stands, it's still at 6, and I'm reliant on the reconnaissance and then the subsequent examination. Before I can answer that accurately,
Would you expect it to climb? Gut feeling.
gut feeling is yes, it may climb. However, without that confirmation from the examination, it would be irresponsible of me to say that.
So when do you think you might be able to confirm the identities of the victims?
As the coroner said yesterday, this is going to be a slow process, and I would be reluctant to give you a time frame. As you can imagine, it's going to take a number of days for the examination and the retrieval of the deceased from there, and then the subsequent post-mortem procedures. And that would be a question that the coroner's office would be more likely to answer than police.
What's a higher priority? Is it scouring the entire building for bodies, or is it the retrieval of the bodies if found?
The first priority is making sure that it's safe for our staff to work in, obviously. The second, as part of the reconnaissance, is to identify the areas that are most likely that we might find some deceased, and then retrieving them.
Okay, thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you.